Welcome to the Daily Jerry Anderson podcast, which today begins, as usual, with the presenter defending himself against lies that have been kindled to his detriment. A few days off leave the field ripe for spreading slurs, as opposed to slurry, of the most heinous kind. By the way, I believe I went for an operation.
Yes.
Well, I did not go for an operation. I met a number of worried listeners who saw me walking around the streets a bit fast round about the weekend and worrying how I could possibly walk after undergoing surgery. And then it transpired that it came from your lips, this foul calumny. I did not have an operation. I did not have a transplant. I was not in hospital. You should be very careful what you say. Do you remember a while ago, the last time I went away for a few days, you said that I had swine flu? And I ended up on the front page of the Daily Mirror, and there was nothing wrong with me. People were avoiding me like the bubonic plague. A woman actually got up and moved away from me because she thought I had swine flu. At that time, they were saying it was killing people, which it was. You have no consideration. I mean, for God's sake.
You were the very boy that told me that you're attending the doctors and the hospital as an outpatient and you have to get something done with your foot. And
It's a lie.
It's not. Emma remembers it.
Emma remembers nothing.
He remembers the conversation upstairs.
What conversation was that?
And you removed your shoe and your sock.
That wasn't me.
It was you, and you showed us your, sort of
What?
a bunion type thing.
That's nothing.
Yeah, you said
I didn't do that. That's a lie.
It's
A lie. That's a dirty lie. I did not take off. But do you think I'd take off my shoe in front of Emma? Do you think I'd do a thing like that and show her my bunion? Do you think I would do that? A man who's trying to get his credibility raised? Do you think he'd take
Welcome
off
back, Hop Along Anderson.
I was not in the
Tell
hospital.
the truth.
I
All
did
right,
not
enough.
have a hair transplant.
No.
I did not have an operation to my foot. You
Do you hear that again?
You hear that? You can't stop that. That's coming out. You have no control over it. When it starts, you have to let it out.
I know.
I'm fine. Look at me. I'm a picture of health.
Did you
As a
hear
ma-
Jackie on Saturday afternoon?
No, I missed that.
Oh, the cup final was on.
What cup final was that?
I feel sorry. It was a poor enough match, poor first half.
What cup final? Sorry, I'm not on top of
One
this.
of
Which
those
one?
cup finals.
Which one was it?
CIA.
CIA's cup final. The Central Intelligence Agency.
Aye, one of those cup
The Central
finals.
Intelligence Agency Knockout Cup.
Distillery in Portadown.
Wonder who won that one.
Distillery.
No, of course. No, I don't follow football now. I've stopped all that.
Yeah.
And what was Jackie doing? Commentating?
I turned on and there was Jackie, but and I left it from time to time. You understand? You know? But he did come out, I thought, with two classics.
Oh, come on.
One was the best ever.
Oh, come on.
One, the best.
Even better than There's a Little Business Left on the Touchline?
Even better than that. I said,
Gillespie's got a great little engine?
Oh,
Even better than that?
Well, the first one he said was about a big defender. He said, the big defender couldn't keep it down. And I thought...
That's not nothing that troubles us.
No. But the classic was, I said to myself, that's it. Nothing beats that. That's it there. That's Jackie.
I can't wait.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, of course I do.
I'm told he can throw a good long one in.
See, Jackie's... No, do you know what's happened there? Jackie has heard the complaints last week that he didn't say anything memorable. So he's upped his game for us. No, he has. Thank you,
That was
Jackie.
great.
You
Yes.
see, Jackie will never let us down.
No.
The Muse strikes a listener, fired by the presenter's tales of stealing money from others less fortunate than himself. A poem celebrates and rejoices in the presenter's shameless declaration that he is indeed a crook.
Hello, Trotter Implants. Can you play a song by Sickbag Willie, please?
Sean interrupts Jerry much to the latter's chagrin, but on Wednesday the interruption not only exposed gargantuan lies, but also forced the presenter to renege on a charitable donation and indeed take the next 2 days off work, presumably in shock. I refer, of course, to Jerry's claim that in 1963 he stole 60 quid of somebody else's money in a supermarket, which, if index-linked, would be equivalent to finding 30 grand at Lidl. And the following poem commemorates the event, cause and effects. Stick or twist, the gamble's on. Do you want to play? Jerry was found out telling lies the other day. He claimed that in a Derry Tesco's in 1963 he inherited another 60 quid and pocketed it with glee. But Doubting Thomas, a.k.a. Sean Coyle, exposed the horrid lie and challenged Jerry to give it to charity and waved the 60 dabs goodbye. Jerry was in the corner then, a place he didn't like, and sweated like wee Whitey. Stuttered excuses into the mic. Shawnee pushed him harder like a boxer on the ropes, and Jerry lost his sang-froid like a junkie starved of dope. But we at home, the listeners, oblivious to the damage inflicted by Sean's Spanish Inquisition, and Jerry's now exposed contradiction, for Jerry went into exile for the next 2 days and nights on the Mount and fasted, whilst Sean's choice in pop music sent the listeners into a catatonic daze. The bold Sean emerged victorious like we always knew he would, and Jerry tore his hair out in a self-loathing kind of mood. So Sean, we now salute you, glorious in your war of attrition, for having seen Jerry off. Who'll be your new addition? He's old and he is beautiful, no stranger to the BBC's Banbridge finest son, Geordie, no kid, no fee. Another deathless poem celebrates the efforts of Coylus Interruptus to cope and grapple with what the council has left him. The Night Stalker. Strange noises in the dead of night, weird bumps and furtive knocks. It's only Mr. Coyle moving his compost box. He drags it here, he drags it there, arrayed like Willy Winky, curses like the little sailor, got a splinter in his pinky. The Maiden City looks so pretty, the Guildhall and the docks. And don't forget our new Peace Bridge. Isn't our Peace Bridge lovely? Have you been down to look at it?
Yes, I look at it every...
Isn't it lovely?
Saturday and Sunday
No, it
morning.
really is
Yes.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to cross it with the mayor?
Yes, hand in hand.
I think I should have that role. After all, I am a prominent broadcaster. The Maiden City looks so pretty, the Guildhall and the docks. Just one man is awake tonight, pushing his compost box. He curses the mayor with silver hair. Far away, a clock strikes 3. Oh, why did Derry Council foist this plastic crate on me? Around his head swoop many bats, with radar beams switched on. They squeak an alarm. Don't do yourself harm. The bats all love Sean. A breeze blows up his nightdress, where breezes should not go. Sean begins to shiver, so cold down there below. The fight goes on just to watch wee Sean push with all his might. The compost box digs in its heels, prepares to stand and fight. You're ruining my lawn, says little Sean. The sun cannot get through. Get into the get into the corner like little Jack Horner, or I'll be dug out of you all through the night. They tussle and fight. Hark, here comes the sun. But tomorrow night, another fight. This war is not yet done. How can a plastic crate provoke such hate in a man who has angina? Does he drop the crate, perhaps of late, containing his wife's good china? 'Tis a mystery worthy of Arthur C. Clarke. Have you examined your compost thing recently?
Yes.
I tried it on the other day. It fits me. Never a man to let a folk singer enjoy his declining years in peace. The presenter takes it upon himself to analyse the face belonging to well-known singer-songwriter Donovan. The said Donovan has done nothing to deserve this. Do you know there's a little kind of a Scottish face? Did you ever look at our Willie or Hootsman or anything like that? You know, there's a particular kind of a squeezed-in, kind of a Scottish face, kind of wee snub nose. Mm-hmm. And I hate to be personal about this, but there is a certain Scottish face. And
Andy Stewart.
Andy Stewart has it. And I'll tell you who has it to a certain degree, although it's not immediately obvious, but when you think about it, Jimmy Nesbitt has it to a certain degree. And Gary Moore, the late Gary Moore, had it as well.
Kenny Dalglish?
Kenny, no.
I just
So
thought
he's got
I just thought I'd throw it in the testy.
The thing about this... You're trying to catch me, aren't you? The thing about the Scottish face is that it doesn't get any better as it gets older. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are certain faces, like mine. Mm-hmm. You know, I get more sexy as I get older.
Well, I haven't noticed. Emma says yes. You're dripping sex appeal, she says.
You see, but I'm far more attractive now than I was 10 years ago.
Are you?
Yes, I am. But you are not. You were all right looking, but then you kind of went downhill. Right. See, it's just the way you develop. There's a certain Scottish face that gets worse, and it becomes almost like a squeezed kind of lemon as you get older. And Donovan has got one of those faces, unfortunately. But a very nice man. I spent a day with him, I remember, a number of years ago. But I remember looking at his face and saying, you're not going to be looking great in about 10 years' time. And I was right.
I didn't realise he was Scottish.
He is indeed. Yes.
I know he lives in Scotland now, isn't it? He's settled in
Well, he was born in Scotland. I
or
don't know where
something
he
like
lives.
that. Yeah.
I always remember a friend of mine who was a very, very prominent folk singer. I won't tell you his name because you probably don't know who he is. And he said that the first time he ever went to see Bob Dylan, he said it changed his life. He went to see Bob Dylan in the Manchester Free Trade Hall.
Has Bob Dylan got a Scottish face?
No, he's got a Jewish face. Bob Dylan is Jewish. And he's got a very particularly Jewish face.
You're right.
And we're not being racist here,
No,
but there are
but
certain...
you're right.
yeah,
You're
you know.
right. You're right.
So he said he went to see Manchester, Bob Dylan in Manchester Free Trade Hall. That's the time when he was first with the band, and people heckled him and called him Judas.
Oh, aye.
And I said, what did you think of Bob Dylan? He said, it changed my life, he said, completely. And he said the only reason he went is because somebody told him that Bob Dylan sounded a bit like Donovan. The presenter, having hinted previously that he is a crook, elaborates on his crimes. Only now do we realise the scope of his dishonesty, and only now do we suspect that he enjoys it. This is not all that long ago that I did that. And, I'm not proud of it, and there are things that, I try to sweep under the carpet, and this is probably one of them. And I just felt the other particular day that I had to get it off my chest. And I wanted closure, I suppose, in many ways. I wanted to see an end of it, so I admitted that I'd done this. And, I'll just tell you again, because I may have implied it was in the 60s, but it wasn't. It was only a matter of, 3 years ago.
Right.
I was standing at a supermarket, checkout. And a woman beside me says, "Look, you've dropped your money there, son." I looked down and there was a little wad of money. It was 3 20-pound notes. And I picked them up and I said, "Oh, thanks very much. Look, God, I would have lost that." I put it in my pocket.
It didn't belong to
mine.
you.
It wasn't mine, no. And I walked out and I went, how can I go back and say, listen, by the way, I made a mistake there. The lady said, that's that money on the floor. And I thought it was mine. But see, that's a lie because I knew all the while it wasn't mine. And I knew that I was going to take it.
But it'd be better for you to tell a wee white lie by saying and going back.
What could I could have gone back and said, listen, I thought that was my money.
It's not my money. I've checked. I've got my money. Yes.
No, but I couldn't do that because, you know why? Because I wanted it. I wanted it. So I kept it. And I never get any good out of it. I never had any luck with it. It has now grown to be 300 quid because I invested it.
There's a wee call.
No, it's better that you get these things. I feel better now. I didn't feel so good the last day because I lied about it. I implied it was many years ago, but it's only recently. And it just goes to show you, even the wealth that I have, the fame, the power that I have, the good looks, handsome, everything, that I will still steal 60 quid if I get a chance. That means that I'm still a crook. Nothing has changed on me. If money fell out of your pocket,
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
And supposing you came in here and money fell out of your pocket,
Yeah.
I would keep it. I would lift it up and keep it. Would you give it, if I dropped a tenner out of my pocket, would you sit there, would you do it? Or would you keep
No,
it?
I would give it to your brother.
Nah!
Because it's obviously his
Charlie.
trousers.
It's his trousers. Thank you for listening. Back tomorrow.